and welcome to Crime in Court. My name is Heather, and I'm bringing you a new story, very sad and tragic story that happened over this weekend. I did a little bit on it in my last Karen Reed video because it is in the same area. This took place in Massachusetts. And so I am actually talking about, let me go to the thumbnail. We are talking about justice for Enrique Delgado Garcia. So Enrique is pictured in the green shirt in the center of the screen, and the larger picture to his left is his mother, I believe. And the guy with the mics and the tie, that is District Attorney, what is it? It just left my brain for a second. Joe Early is his name. Joe Early Jr. He is the DA for Worcester, Worcester County. I know how to say it now. It's Worcester. But with the Boston accent, it's more like Worcester. But I'll say Worcester because I don't have the accent and I'll probably butcher it. But I love the Boston accent. I know I say that all the time, but I really do. All right, so I'm gonna actually let me shrink myself. We're gonna start this episode off. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what's going on. First off, who is Enrique? Enrique, do I have a picture of him in this here? Okay, that's better. Look at the picture of him while I talk. All right, so Enrique it was a 25-year-old Massachusetts State Police recruit. He was actually in the top of his class. He was very athletic, strong, and very smart. He has a Latino background, a Latino heritage, and he has been just described as just a wonderful, admirable human being, an honest, hardworking person who just really he wanted to join the police academy so that he could help people, and that's what his number one thing was, that he really wanted to help. However, we learned this weekend that he lost his life due to injuries that he sustained at the at some kind of boxing training that they were doing, a defensive boxing training technique that they were supposedly doing, which makes no sense with the injuries that he sustained because they just don't make sense. Again, we have another Massachusetts officer who loses his life in a mysterious way, in a very violent way, and the DA's office or the state police or whoever are saying that the injuries are not consistent with what we're being told. So, yeah. Now, Enrique Delgado Jr., he was 2 weeks away from graduating this program and from being a trooper in the Mass State Police, which was his dream. So, let's that's kind of where I wanted to get you guys started here. So let's read this quick article on the Worcester DA seeking outsider to lead probe into heartbreaking loss of state police recruit. So Enrique Delgado Garcia formerly worked for the Worcester DA's office. Okay. How do you guys say Worcester sauce? Because I would love to hear some Bostonians say Worcester sauce because I bet there's a lot of ahs in that. It would really crack me up. Anyways, all right. So just random things that I think throughout the day. All right. So New Braintree, Massachusetts is where this took place. Worcester's district attorney said Monday that he is looking. So today we're going to actually listen to the full press conference after this. So he said today that he is looking for someone else to lead the investigation into the loss of the life of Massachusetts State Police recruit who suffered a medical emergency during a training exercise, is what they're calling it. So, a medical emergency during a training exercise might be like, oh, you get dehydrated or you get some kind of, breathing, you start panic attack or whatever might happen. You might have cardiac arrest while you're training. Not the injuries that poor officer Enrique Delgado-Garcia has sustained. And I'm going to call him officer because on his, on the hospital bed, while he was on life support, Massachusetts State Police did make him an honorary trooper. So there's that. But they've been vague in other areas. They've provided some kind of video that didn't make sense, I guess, to the family regarding his injuries. So a lot of things aren't adding up already, and the family is questioning a lot of things that are going on. So, medical emergency during a training exercise. So, Enrique Delgado Garcia, 25, of Worcester, became unresponsive in the boxing ring. They're saying it happened in a boxing ring during a defensive tactics training exercise at the State Police Academy on Thursday, according to News Center 5. So, this happened, I believe, in the evening on Thursday. Excuse me. He lost his life surrounded by family and loved ones Friday night after being removed from life support at a hospital, according to the department. So he was brought to the emergency room at some point in time on Thursday and put on life support until they took him off of it on Friday. So Worcester District Attorney, I'll get it, guys. Worcester District Attorney Joe Early Jr. has jurisdiction over the investigation, but said he has a conflict of interest because Delgado Garcia had previously worked as a victim witness advocate in his office. The DA said that he was speaking to several people about potentially taking the lead on this case. Because of this close relationship, he said, someone else will be handling this matter. Early also shared personal anecdotes about working with him, describing his dedication to his work. He says, quote, "This is a heartbreaking and tragic loss. Enrique constantly worked to make life better for others. He was one of the first ones to help, whether it was the victims he was advocating for or his fellow coworkers. He always did so with one of the biggest smiles that you've ever seen." Members of Delgado Garcia's family were present for the DA's update but declined to speak about their loss. Early said an autopsy of Delgado Garcia was concluded, but the report was not yet finalized as of Monday. So they still haven't finalized the autopsy and they're not releasing much at this time. He also confirmed that the incident in the boxing ring, as they call it, the incident in the boxing ring was recorded on video. So, like I said, they handed over some kind of video to the family that didn't make any sense to them. I don't know what this video is. This is what I've heard on like or read through comments from people who know the family on social media. All right, so while Early seeks an outsider to take over, he said the state police detectives assigned to his office will continue their work. There's some things that have to be time sensitive, they have to keep going, but whoever does handle this matter will have an opportunity to review everything from top to bottom. All right, so what do we know so far? Delgado Garcia entered the 90th Recruit Training Troop in April and was set to graduate on October 9th at the DCU Center in Worcester. Police said the Academy's on site medical team, which includes dedicated staff from UMass Medical, responded immediately, which I believe is also where he was taken to, was the UMass Medical. responded immediately to Delgado Garcia on Thursday and rendered aid. He was then taken to UMass Memorial Medical Center in Worcester, yeah, where he lost his life on Friday night. Uh, State police spokesman. So this is like the first time we're hearing from state police. They say, quote, the Massachusetts State Police administered the oath of office in Enrique Delgado Garcia's final hours of life. He was surrounded by family, loved ones, and classmates during the bilingual ceremony, which culminated in him being pinned with his trooper badge. And that's according to Tim McGurk, the state police spokesman. State police escorted Delgado Garcia's body from UMass Memorial to the office of the chief medical examiner in Westfield Saturday evening. Trooper Enrique Delgado Garcia was weeks away from graduating from the State Police Academy, said State Police Union President Brian Williams, who was visibly shaken. I don't think there's words that can express how awful and how tragic the situation is. There's not. I mean, it is beyond. And we'll get to his injuries in a minute. When we get to his injuries, you'll see why this is so horrific and violent and tragic. Make this bigger for you guys. I can't see it as well as I would like, so you guys can't see it as well. So here we go. All right, so we offer our deepest condolences to his family and loved ones, says Colonel Mon, John E. Uh, Mon Jr. He said in a written statement, they have the full measure of our support and care, and they remain full members of our state police family. So they did, at his final hours, give him um, they graduated him from the police academy. So he is officially a trooper. All right. Did I finish that sentence? They have our full measure. Yeah, okay. Mon described Delgado Jr. as a fine young man who devoted himself to the service of others. In his short time with the state police, Enrique demonstrated an extraordinary capacity to learn and a desire to deliver excellent police services to the people of Massachusetts, Mon wrote. He made an immediate impression on his classmates and the academy's staff. In a statement from Governor Maura Healey, she said that she was heartbroken and called the loss devastating. She says, I'm heartbroken about the loss of Massachusetts State Police trainee Enrique Delgado Garcia, who had committed himself to a career protecting the people of Massachusetts. He was a beloved member of his academy class, known for his compassion and devotion to service. This is a devastating time for all who knew him and loved him, and we are holding Enrique's family and his state police community in our hearts. I would like to see the state police community held accountable, not in your hearts. I want them held accountable. Maura Healy. Thank you and good day. I mean, seriously, can we please hold them accountable and not just say, "Oh, they're victims too because they lost someone." Yes, sure, maybe in some cases that might be the case, but hold on, I'm trying to switch over here. All right, to video. We're gonna watch some video now of what is being said in the news and what someone, Nurse Kim, who I follow her, I found her through the Free Karen Reed movement, and she's hilarious, and she has the greatest Boston accent ever. And we're going to watch a little bit about her because she's a nurse and she's going to talk to us about like, well, I was hoping she would get more into like medical stuff about her expertise, but I want to hear her or show you guys how like horrific and horrified she is of this whole thing. So we're gonna watch that. But as I was saying before, Maura Healy, she needs to fix the problem. She's had multiple. major fails while she's been in office. I'm not for Massachusetts. I don't care about politics, but she needs to go along with Judge Canoni and many of the state troopers that were involved, and Canton police officers as well, Stoughton police officers, anyone who was involved in, say, ju- the investigation into John O'Keefe's loss of life, or framing Karen Reed, or Sandra Birchmore, Justin Root. There's many others. Need I continue? I mean, the travesties that are happening in Massachusetts is just wild to me, and something needs to be done. And this all comes down to, the district attorneys and the governor and getting this state back into some kind of semblance of a sophisticated democracy. Because right now we are not in a democracy in Massachusetts, anyways. They have suppressed freedom of speech repeatedly. They have covered up and ignored multiple signs of corruption in their own law enforcement. So, this is a problem, and we need to start screaming it from the rooftops. Justice for Enrique, justice for John O'Keefe, justice for Sandra Birchmore, justice for Justin Root. Let's just keep making these things known, making people aware of what's going on. So, trying to do my part. Anyways, let's watch this quick little clip of this video clip is from NBC Boston 10. It's titled "Family Demands Answers in the Loss of Mass State Police Recruit's Life." So, let's see. What did it say?
Ese golpe tan fuerte a mi hijo que me lo mató.
It's just not right, and I personally don't really buy this boxing story.
I believe these are friends, family, mom. Mom was the one crying. This is, I don't know if it's family, friend.
Not right, and I personally don't really buy this boxing story.
And first at 11, family and friends absolutely heart.
So the boxing is the story that they are going with, state police. I also read that that was not originally what they were told. The family was not originally being told that it was from being in the boxing ring, that it might have been potentially a fight, that they even told them it was a fight. I've heard that there's this thing that they do called fight night, and I think that's what happened, and it got out of hand. And there was somebody trying to teach him a lesson, and it went way, way too far based on his injuries.
Broken and looking for answers after their loved one, who was a recruit with the Massachusetts State Police, died from injuries he sustained during an exercise at the academy. That recruit you see right there, just 25 years old. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm Colton Bradford. Glenn and Priscilla have the night off. Only NBC 10 Boston's Jericho Tran spoke with Enrique Delgado-Garcia's family moments after his death. She's live for us tonight from State Police headquarters in Framingham. Jericho, the agency, they released a statement about an hour or so ago about the incident. What are they saying here?
Well, Massachusetts State Police released that statement confirming that Enrique Delgado-Garcia experienced a medical crisis during a training exercise. But I spoke with Delgado's family, and they say a training exercise does not explain how he had a broken neck, missing teeth, and brain injuries.
Ay, mi niño.
The cries of a grieving mother.
¿Por qué se llevó mi hijo? Mi hijo era tan bueno, tan bueno.
My son was so good. I just want to understand why they took my son.
Ay, mi niño.
Mixed with anger and disbelief.
They killed my cousin, and they run away like cowards.
I miss you.
After the loss of 25-year-old Enrique Delgado-Garcia.
He's the best of all of us. All he did was study and run. That's all he ever did.
Massachusetts State Police say Delgado suffered from serious injuries during an exercise at the New Braintree, Massachusetts State Police Academy on Thursday.
Teeth missing, brain injury, that didn't come from boxing, especially a round of 2 minutes.
We spoke with former State Trooper Todd McGee.
They said it was a 2-minute round of boxing that did this to him. His neck was broken. His skull was fractured. He has severe brain trauma. He has severe contusions all over his body, a broken leg, a dislocated shoulder. How did you get that from a 2-minute sparring one-on-one with someone? It's mind-boggling that that's the story they're going with. And another thing that infuriates me is that while he was at the hospital, they would not get a translator to the family who could not understand what was going on. Awful. Just awful. And I think they did it on purpose to be evasive and to not tell information to the family right away of what was going on. So these people are evil. That's all I can say. Like, evil.
Who helped to reinstitute the exercise at the academy, consisting of 2 rounds of boxing where trained fighters were not allowed to take part.
And if you stick to goals and objectives, it should be safe. Can injuries still happen? Yes, but to the level of this degree, you hope not to see something like this ever happen again.
But Delgado's family and friends,
They're trying to cover it up.
say his injuries are not consistent with what he would have sustained during a defensive tactics training exercise.
Me le destrozó su
Why did he
cerebro.
get hit so
Y me
hard that it
rompió
destroyed his
todos los
brain and broke all of my son's teeth? He also had a fracture on his neck.
Yeah, all of his teeth were missing. Like, all of them. Gone. How did that happen?
My son. Now they're calling for accountability
They need to thoroughly investigate this, and that justice needs to be brought.
and answers from the Massachusetts State Police.
No settlement is gonna freaking bring my cousin back. It's that simple. They know what happened.
And while the family continues to search for answers, the Massachusetts State Police says they'll continue to support the family as much as they can. Delgado was training for 3 months. He was set to graduate in 2 weeks. The Worcester County DA is also investigating this. They say that Delgado was a former employee.
Well, the Worcester County just recused themselves. So, as of this video, they hadn't. But we'll watch that in a second. Yeah, so hold on. What was my next segment for you guys? So 2 minutes of sparring, supposedly a one-on-one, and all of those injuries. How in the world does that happen? It doesn't match. The just the injuries and everything, they don't match. So here, I was gonna I want to play a couple of quick little clips from Nurse Kim because I think she's really funny and cute, and I'm gonna play it. And she's really passionate about this stuff, and she even broke down on her stream. Like, she's really, really passionate about people, about helping people. So, go subscribe to her channel if you haven't.
Year-old Enrique Delgado-Garcia was allegedly.
Whoops. Oh, sorry. I think I have it on speed 2.0 because that's me. I like to listen to everything really fast. All right, sorry. Let me go back a few seconds. Here we go.
Thursday, 25-year-old Enrique Delgado-Garcia. Gods. Okay. Okay, just the elixir of the gods. On Thursday, 25-year-old Enrique Delgado-Garcia was allegedly struck during a boxing exercise. It was allegedly 2 minutes of boxing, babes. And I need you to think about that. Now, we're not thinking about our professional boxers, right? This isn't Tyson, Holyfield, McGregor, Pacquiao, MMA. This is 2 minutes in a training arena. Just saying, okay?
Exactly.
And he suffered injuries, including a broken C-spine, his neck. He broke his neck. He had a broken right leg. He had skull fractures, and his teeth were broken. Per his father, guys, his teeth were gone. Like, he had his teeth knocked out of his mouth. I'm going to need to know how that happened immediately.
Right.
Because this is supposed to be a monitored, supervised, and videoed event that occurs with your boxing training.
Right. It's just supposed to be a training exercise. How did someone get these injuries to this level? I'm getting angry too now because I feel my blood boiling. I'm getting mad because how in the world does somebody's injuries get that bad from a quick little training exercise that's supposed to be monitored and supervised well by, the higher ups, the higher up troopers or sergeants or lieutenants. Somebody should have been there monitoring, supervising, making sure that something like this didn't happen, which makes me almost suspect that it might have been a supervisor who did it or ordered it. Did you order the code red? I think someone may have. All right, so this next clip has to do with more that she heard from the family regarding injuries. So I want to play this really quick.
Really had passion about this. And I feel like it struck a nerve deep within us all, guys. I feel like this has struck a nerve that and maybe some people are afraid to say it. Like, I know that certain creators are saying, oh no, the Mass State Police didn't, we can't make any correlations. I'm making a correlation. I'm making it. Okay? Nurse Kim, let me be the asshole. Because I'm going to say that when Enrique Delgado-Garcia's family tells me that he was murdered, let's go.
Yep. Those injuries look like he was beat down. Somebody even said, like, it looked like he was hit by a car going 100 miles an hour. He was severely beaten. This was not a training exercise. Somebody did this purposefully and willfully, meaning homicide.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You tell me, you only say the word and I got you. And I'm going to believe the family. I'm going to listen to this family as they tell me their trauma of what they heard on a phone from someone saying he was in a fight, not in a ring, at a training exercise. He was in a fight.
In a fight.
And then it took 10 minutes for them to call 911.
10 minutes to call 911. And how long was he being beaten for before that? And by how many people? I'm enraged. This makes me so angry. Why did this have to happen? Why do people keep losing their lives here? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Why is there not better? I mean, you guys in Massachusetts know you're all being watched by the feds, right? You guys know that? Feds are watching. That means you, Mass State Police, you already have somebody on your employment roster who is being, I don't know, he's suspended now without pay, and he's probably going to be fired in the near future. I'm talking about Michael Proctor. You guys already have that issue going on, and now you're going to let this happen to recruits, good, hardworking, loyal recruits, honest recruits. Infuriating to me. All right, let's get to this press release or press conference here. I think I gotta skip a little ways.
Delgado-Garcia was pronounced deceased at UMass Hospital Lakeside at 4:30 p.m. on September 13th, Saturday. Enrique Delgado-Garcia was loved by everyone in our office.
Friday was the 13th. So was it the 14th? He was pronounced deceased on Friday. What is he talking about? Do we have captions? Turn on captions here. What's he saying?
UMass Hospital Lakeside at 4:30 p.m. on September 13th, Saturday. Enrique Delgado-Garcia was loved by everyone in our office. He's a dedicated victim witness advocate who joined our office and was with us for about a year and a half before he left our office in April to fulfill a lifelong dream of joining the Massachusetts State Police. This is a time of mourning for Enrique's family, friends, and loved ones. This includes many of us, his fellow victim witness advocates, office employees who worked alongside Enrique within our office. This is a heartbreaking and tragic loss. Enrique constantly worked to make life better for others. He was one of the first ones to help. Whether it was the victims he was advocating for or his fellow co-workers, he always did so with one of the biggest smiles that you've ever seen. He was a unique individual. I remember many evenings after 6 p.m. that I'd be walking out of my office and Enrique would still be at the front, either talking on the phone to a victim's family, and it would be Enrique, myself, and Margaret Ruwamba, who was the supervisor within the victim witness office. We try and get him to go home. Say, Enrique, what are you doing here? It's time to go home. And he said, no, Mr. Early, I'll be leaving soon. I got a few things I still need to do. And, yeah. He'd always say, I got a little bit more here to do. I always got someone else I'm helping, Mr. Early. And because of this close relationship, someone else will be handling this matter. There's no way this office can handle this. Everyone loved Enrique. At this time, the detectives, state police detectives assigned to our office will continue to investigate this matter. They were called to the Massachusetts State Police Academy when Enrique was injured on Thursday, and they began an investigation. They've continued to investigate and will continue to do so just as they would on any other case. And they will also work with whoever takes this matter. We don't have a cause of manner of death to release at this time as the autopsy report has been concluded. The autopsy has been concluded, but the autopsy report has not been finalized. It will be completed by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. Now I'm going to be limited in what I can take for questions. I'll try and answer some questions. We're early into this. And again, our office isn't handling this. Today we're here for Enrique. This is all about Enrique. But I'll try and answer a few questions if I can.
The troopers in your office who are investigating, are they going to continue to simultaneously investigate with another outside body, or are they going to just pass what they have on to an independent investigator?
They're going to continue to investigate. I don't know who will be handling the investigation. I just know it will be someone without a stake in its outcome. Okay? They'll make those decisions. That's not for me to make those.
Sounds like the feds need to be involved in this. 100% the feds need to be investigating this because the state police cannot investigate themselves. And who else would be doing it other than a DA's office? And it just doesn't make sense to pass it on to another DA's office. I think they need to ask the feds to do the investigating here, if they're not already.
Decisions. Again, I have a conflict. Whoever does take over this matter will be making those decisions. But right now, we're going to continue to investigate. We're going to do it just as it is. Will other things be done? I'm sure that they will. But that's something I can't speculate on at this point.
The family has concerns. In other cases in the state, as you know, the state police are under a lot of scrutiny for the way they've been investigating things that involve other state troopers. Would you rather see this go to the federal level and away from the state police?
Okay. I'm not going to speculate as to that, Bob. I did talk to several people about taking over this matter on Friday. I'm not going to get into who they are. I'm not going to get into who they are. And we talked about the case. My concern is that we can't investigate it, okay? And I want it done by someone who doesn't have a stake in its outcome. And I hope that answers your question.
GA, the
Another
police,
DA's
GA, the
office?
police are really concerned, people are really concerned that Enrique was beaten to death, that his teeth were knocked out. What are your concerns and what do you know about what happened at the academy last week?
Again, we know
Good
it was in the
question.
boxing ring. It was videotaped. But like I said,
Says we know it was in the boxing ring and it was videotaped. Do we? Because what? How is it videotaped? And it doesn't make sense with what the family said the injuries are.
the autopsy's been concluded, but the report hasn't been finalized. So, but I shouldn't be speaking to that. It's going to be whoever we give this matter to will be able to address that. And they've got to be able to do a thorough and complete investigation. And again, it has to be someone without a stake in its outcome.
Is there a conflict of interest to have the troopers dedicated to your office? Since, State Police Academy, MSP troopers, is that a conflict?
At this point, we have a conflict as an office, but right now we can't stop this investigation. In the state troopers that we have assigned to our state police detective unit are some of the finest, most professional people that I've ever dealt with in my life, and I am certain that they will continue to do this in a professional way. We've got to do things. You just can't stop an investigation. There's some things that have to be, they're time sensitive, they have to keep going. But whoever does handle this matter will have an opportunity to review everything from top to bottom, bring in outside consultants, do whatever they think they need to do with regards to this.
So who is making that decision over who will be this new investigative body?
I'm speaking to people now about whether or not, who will take it and who, if they have the ability to take it, and we're going back on different things right now.
In another DA's office in this state?
I don't think another DA's office is appropriate, but I don't want to get into that either. Again, they have state troopers that work. It's a paramilitary organization, and there's a chain of command. So again, I'd like to see someone take this that doesn't have a stake in the outcome of this case.
Exactly. FBI.
Oh, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into I'm speculating. So again, I'd like to see someone take this that doesn't have a stake in the outcome of this case.
You think there should be an FBI investigation?
Oh, I'm not going to get into that.
He asked, do you think there should be an investigation? And he said, I'm not going to get into that.
I'm not going to get in. I'm speculating. We don't know enough. I'm not going to speculate on that again. I just want to have someone looking at this, eyes looking at this, who doesn't have a stake in the outcome of the case.
You have a grieving family next to you that are concerned that this may be criminal. Do you believe there's anything criminal that happened at the academy?
He pretty much rolled his eyes when they said that. And that's all over social media now, this little clip of him rolling his eyes when they ask, you have a grieving family next to you.
Eyes looking at this, who doesn't have a
Watch his
stake
eyes.
in the outcome of the case.
You have a grieving family next to you that are concerned that this may be criminal.
Oh, is what he just did.
Again, I just want to have someone looking at this, eyes looking at this, who doesn't have a stake in the outcome of the case.
You have a grieving family next to you that are concerned that this may be criminal. Do you believe there's anything criminal that happened at the academy?
Not going to speculate. That's too early in the investigation. I got a conflict. They have a conflict. We have a conflict. We love Enrique. And again, this is about Enrique today. We want to make sure that what needs to be done gets done. And again, by someone without a stake in the outcome of this case.
Are any policy changes going to take place at the academy while the investigation's pending?
Yeah, that'd be a question for the state police.
Why did Enrique want to become a police officer?
His family is looking for privacy right now, but as they tell me, it was his lifelong dream to be a state trooper. I begged Enrique to stay. I said, come on, you got a place home. You got a home here. And we talked about maybe when he was a state trooper coming back and being a state police detective as well within our office.
Oh.
Because I thought he is such a fine, upstanding young man.
That makes me even more sick to my stomach that he had a place to go work under this DA because he really liked Enrique. This is heartbreaking. I've heard this guy's just as bad as Michael, or maybe not as bad as Michael Morrissey, but he's not as straight of an arrow as we would like our politicians to be. And he might have some of his own issues, but at least I feel like it seems like he cares about Enrique. He felt it felt heartfelt to me. He kind of choked up a little bit talking about him. So I don't know. Feel like he had, because he had a close relationship with him. He worked with him. So
Be the perfect representative for his family, his community. He's just an amazing young man.
Chair, would they be able to say a couple of words for us?
They don't want to, and they're just asking for privacy. Yeah, I don't think any of that's changed. Yeah. Do you want to say anything, or?
Tell us who he was, what was he like, what do you want people to know about him?
You'll go. You don't have to. It's up to you.
Lo que queremos es que respeten la privacidad, el dolor.
No, they don't want to say anything. Just ask that you respect their privacy at this point. You know, all his coworkers are over here. This is just an amazing kid.
How long was he working in your office?
About a year and a half. And I tell you, if he was well, the nicest, if he wasn't, he was one of the nicest employees that ever worked for us, if not the nicest employee. That smile lit up a room, and he could handle people. He'd take Margaret, his supervisor, would say, Enrique, you got to get up to the courtroom. You got to get up to the courtroom. And you go, just a minute, Margaret, I have to finish with this person. I'm almost done. They want to be heard. I got to help them. And Margaret does an incredible job with her staff, about 24 people, and I know Enrique was one of her favorites too.
Joe, what does it mean that he was pinned with his badge and was given the oath of office before he's passed away, that he will now be remembered as a trooper in Massachusetts?
I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to ask the state police with regards to that. I'm not going to get into that.
So I just want to point out that the state police are not at this press conference and have not had their own press conference regarding the incident. So it's kind of telling who's making the announcement. The DA's office, who would have been investigating it, but due to a conflict of interest, has recused himself. So, which I kind of think is, probably the appropriate thing to do here. Although, if he did have Enrique's best interest in mind, he might be good for advocating for him. However, too emotional, potentially, maybe too close. I don't know. The conflict is there. So the smart thing to do is recuse. And that's what he's doing. Unlike Judge Cannoni in Norfolk County, where she refuses to let go of the Karen Reed case. Anyways, let's continue on with these questions. I hope you guys can hear the questions. They're kind of quiet, but it's better on this feed than it was on another one. So,
Decision on the investigation, will the governor have a say on who will pick up this investigation?
You know, right now we have jurisdiction of the case, and as you can see, we can't handle this case because we have a conflict. Again, we love Enrique. I'm sure other people are going to be weighing in on the case. There'd be some appropriate questions for other people. But we think right now, based on the amount of questions you have, based on the activity, based on the family's concerns, we're going to get someone to review this matter that does not have a stake in its outcome.
So you'll ultimately have jurisdiction over making the call over who takes over the investigation? Or?
Our office, yes, we're going to decide where it goes out to, and again,
How transparent will this process be?
we're trying to keep it as transparent as possible, Bob. And that would be, let someone else take a look at it.
Is that another
Any
DA's
indication of what
office?
his experience was like in the months that he spent at the academy?
Can't get into that at this point. I'm sure that'll all be part.
Are you confident that the entirety of the incident was captured on the video?
I can't speculate. Can't speculate as to any of that.
So right now you want to give it to
I have
another
not.
DA's office? Is that?
No, I'm not looking to give it to another DA's office. I don't think that would be fair to my fellow DAs. They all have state police detective units. They all have a chain of command. I'm looking for someone who can look at this with an independent view, who doesn't have a stake in its outcome.
Somebody from out of state? Would that be on the federal level?
I don't know where we're going to go on that, Bob. The people I talked to were in state. I talked to about 4 different entities on Friday afternoon about the possibility of taking this over for us.
When do
Okay?
you think you'll have a decision
I don't know.
Sometime this week?
I would hope. I would hope so. I would hope so. Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so.
God, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for his family. Look at his poor mom. She's just been like head down and oh, like that the whole time. Feels so bad.
Would like to say anything about Enrique for us?
Anybody that works with him?
People that work with him? Anybody else?
Your people don't want it.
The family doesn't. Anybody else?
His
Maybe?
role and what his responsibilities were.
We're going to leave that alone for right now. These guys are hurting. They were all downstairs crying 5 minutes ago. We're going to give them a break right now, okay?
Aw, I mean, I feel like there are people that are really hurting here, besides the family, people within the DA's office that knew Enrique.
Early, can you comment on the situation in Milford? There was a stabbing.
Sure.
I still feel like they're, skirting around the issue, but I don't know what people were expecting him to say because he got some flack on uh, the internet, especially for the eye roll thing that he did. That was pretty awful. But um, I don't know. I didn't think it was that horrible, in my opinion. It could have been worse. This press conference.
That's being investigated right now. It appears we have 2 dead. Waiting to get a report back. We don't have anything else for you at this point.
This is some other incident locally. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay, excuse me. 1 dead, 1 critical. 1 dead, 1 critical. I'm sorry.
Is the videotape what happened to Enrique, is that Mass State Police property, or was that done at one of their, I don't know, I guess training facilities, or?
Was it the academy? I don't know where. So
I was asking who owns the video of this training exercise that occurred that took Enrique's life, and he doesn't know who the owner is.
ownership of it. I just know that who's ever doing the investigation will have that.
You said you haven't viewed the video?
I have not.
He's not viewed the video.
This is personal for you because he was such a great employee and he went on to go into law enforcement. How difficult is this for you as the DA?
This is as hard as it gets. I mean, I love that kid. Love that kid. He's just the nicest kid in the world. I said kid, he was 25. He's a young man. Was whole life in front of him. It's hard. Yes, it's hard. It's hard for all of us. I'm not the only one in this office suffering. There are a lot of people hurting right now. Okay?
People honor Enrique.
What's that?
How can people honor Enrique?
Pray for him. Say prayers. Say prayers for his family. They are hurt. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
I think another way that we can help is to do some more standouts in Massachusetts. I can't be there physically, but I can be there spiritually and give you guys a boost when you're. And what was it? Somebody did just post something where I think it's September 19th. There's going to be a standout, and they're going to be protesting all Karen Reed, Justice for John O'Keefe, Justin Root, and Justice for Enrique, Justice for Sandra Birchmore, and I think it's September 19th at some government building. I don't know. It's on Twitter. But I will definitely keep you guys updated on this case. I know there will be more to come. I know family and friends are speaking out. Friends and family members are talking about phone calls that they had with Enrique about his time there and how he was being treated there. So those kinds of things are going to start coming out. It's a very paramilitary situation that they try to train these officers, and they train them by stressing them out and giving them more and more and more stressors, but it might be creating horrible human beings in the process with because that is kind of abusive to, purposely keep throwing more and more stressful things at a recruit just to break them. There's something else that I think it was Nurse Kim had said on her show that it's like almost a 50% dropout rate of the academy, which just goes to show how bad it is. They basically, um, what's the word? Why can't I think of it? Haze. It's like a hazing. The whole time they're being hazed by their higher ups and yelled at in their face. I mean, this is some of the things that they're doing is worse than in the military, training wise and like being verbally awful to people. There was one incident that happened a couple of years ago that multiple people had injuries because it was a really hot day out and they were doing like army crawls on hot pavement and many people got burns. So that's just one example of how they are mistreating the recruits. I mean, you sign up to, I mean, you might want to be toughened up a little bit for this job, but you don't sign up for that. You don't sign up for getting the life beat out of you by what I can only assume was multiple people in this situation and potentially with even with weapons or uh, I can't I don't want to know like what he was going through. I don't want to think about it, but gosh, he could have been beaten by weapons. He could have just been like totally beaten by multiple people at the same time and had no chance. It just it makes me so angry. So I will continue fighting for justice for Enrique and hope that you guys are subscribed so that you don't miss out. And also make sure you hit the like button on the way out, please. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I will keep you guys posted on this and other stories similar in the I guess I'm an advocate for Massachusetts. I didn't mean to be, but here I am. So thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye now.